my current novel, right, I'm wanted to talk about how tragedy shouldn't define us, right, and what it means for a Black woman to, or actually a mixed race woman, to stand up for herself and her own humanity, right, and not be marked by the mistreatment that she encounters in enslavement. So when I write fiction, I'm usually going to, there's something there that I'm going to say. When I was getting to the part where Jeanette is sold into slavery, and I got to that point in the book and I was stuck. And I kid you not, I'm talking about for months, I was stuck. And I don't usually get stuck. I don't believe in writer's block, but I do understand that when I am stuck, there is something there. And I have to understand why, what it's about. And I eventually came to realize that I didn't want to tell the narrative of slavery that we've already heard over and over again. And the escape, like I knew she was going to escape, but I did not want to do that thing of someone running through the woods with dogs chasing them. There's something limiting, and I was like, that this can't. I just didn't have any interest in that, right? So what does that mean? How am I going to do this? But I kept at it. Usually when I'm stuck, I will pick up books and start reading. And one of the books I happened to pick up during that time was a little book called Runaway Slaves. And I bought it at the used book sale at my library. And it contained the narratives of slaves who had run away. And I learned about Ellen and William Craft, a husband and wife who escaped slavery by having her dress as a man. She was light enough to pass. So she dressed as a man and they pretended that her husband was her slave. And they traveled openly, and all the way from Georgia up to Philadelphia. And that, I kid you not, I felt electrified when I read that. Oh my gosh, that not only is it brilliant, but it was exciting to me to hear another story. And I was like, okay, I'm going to use this. I'm going to have this story in my book. And that was even expanded when I went to Louisiana. I went to the Whitney plantation, and I learned that slaves escaped all the time. There were people always either escaping or trying to escape. That was exciting to me, right? Because from the narratives we are told, it's like, okay, some did it, and some, a lot of people were probably kept from it because of the horrible things that happened to the people who were caught. I learned that there were way more slave rebellions that went beyond just Nat Turner, because that's the one story we usually hear, right? We're taught in school about Nat Turner, but there were rebellions all the time. And that was exciting to me. And that's when I realized I want to talk about this story in an empowered way, to have different stories in here, and to have Jeanette come through this experience in a different way, and not sugarcoating it. There's nothing in there that's sugarcoated, but to still somehow have a measure of hope, right? To show how these characters are thinking about their humanity and thinking about, how am I going to get free? The character of Aunt Nancy Lynn, right? She's like, she has lost children, she is feeling stuck, but gosh darn it, she's going to help Jeanette get free, because somebody is going to get out of here, right? My editor picked that out. Those words are in the book, right? So there's a point where Jeanette is describing Colchester's eyes as wild, beautiful, and free. And I was just stunned when my editor picked that out. It was like, this should be the title. Whoa, really? Okay, it was so different, right? And then you have to be careful with connotations, because I don't want the book to be, people to think it's a romance, right? So I was thinking, okay, well, if we're going to have this title, then we can't have people on the cover. Is it possible that we can do something else? And so it was wonderful that that she listened, and that we had a wonderful Leslie Worrell who designed the cover, come up with something absolutely beautiful and striking. So yeah, it's exciting to me that it has that title.